Hi, everyone. This is Trish from On a Water Break with a quick sip. Joining us today is Evan Zubkov and Dean Broadbent from Stoneman Douglas High School Winter Guard. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hey, this isn't a full water break, it's just a quick sip. Let's go!
So I don't know if you guys know this, but we have a feature that's called the 32 Count Life Story. This is where you share everything about you from the very beginning to this very day in 32 counts. So we'll give you 8 off the Met. Who wants to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
8 off the Met, and go.
Hi there. I'm Evan Zubkov. I'm from Long Island, New York. I've been doing color guard since 2001. March Alter Ego, March Blessed Sacrament, March the Cadets. Former instructor designer at Flanagan High School and current same job, caption head at Stoneman Douglas Color Guard.
And you did it. All right, Dean, you ready?
Yeah.
8 off the Met, and go.
Hi, I'm Dean Broadbent. I'm the director of color guards at Stoneman Douglas High School. Before that job, I was at Flanagan High School for about 20 years. And then for the last 7, I've been in Parkland at Stoneman Douglas.
Anthony Rizzo, who played for the Yankees, went to Stoneman Douglas. I believe that.
Yeah. There's a lot of good baseball players from Stoneman. Yeah.
Okay. So a social media post on Friday while we were all at our winter guard rehearsals that made everybody stop in their tracks and go, wait a minute, what's this? What's going on? So what's going on in Broward County right now?
So there is this contract that that WGI requires that the school board of Broward County has with them that handles financial situations. It handles basically just all like the legal jargon and just making sure that all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed. And 3 years ago, we had to come to an agreement with them, and it was rocky, but basically both parties had come to an agreement before it was an emergency situation like this. And now that 3-year contract is up, it's gotten us into a whole lot of trouble because there's just not agreement from both sides. From our knowledge, WGI, they did their due diligence. They tried to work with the county, but it hasn't really come to fruition yet, and we're getting down to the wire.
Yeah, so the master agreement started for everyone, I guess, 4 years now, and immediately our master agreement for the county was flagged by legal. But that team was great in working through it. Our principal was actually the lead principal of the whole district. So she was speaking for West Broward and Flanagan and Cooper City and Somerset Academy and all those schools that were going. And we got it to an agreement for 3 years. However, since then, administration in the school board has switched over. And so there is a new legal department. And so when this one was turned in this year, they kind of wanted to seize the day. And a lot of the things that they're asking are just completely inappropriate or just not really relevant to what we're doing. And it's making it hard for WGI to agree to it. And we are the only school district in the country that has not come to some sort of agreement, whether just signing off on it or, WGI negotiating some, alterations to it. We're the only school district in the entire country where they said no.
So does that include Broward County asking to see WGI's financials?
So everything, as of 2 weeks ago, it was about to be signed. And the thing with this agreement is, once everyone agrees to it, it has to go to a school board meeting and they have to sign off on it. And, unlike where I grew up in Connecticut, where the school board was by town, here in South Florida, the school board is by county. So it is a large corporation.
There's over 300 schools associated with Broward County schools. So
Right.
Yeah, so it's not as easy as we just pick up the phone and call someone, or my neighbor is the superintendent, but it's not like that. And now there's this new legal team in place, and And so as of 2 weeks ago, we were great. And then they made a addition to it that the school board wanted full access to WGI's financials, however, would not grant the same access in return. Now, why the school board needs that, I have no idea. The school board does not fund anything that we do. The only thing that they might fund for these kind of events is a sub for the school board employee that would be going on the trip. They don't pay registrations, they don't pay design costs, they don't pay for clinicians. So why they need to know, WGI's financials is beyond me, and I understand that as being a non-starter.
Especially
That
for a nonprofit like WGI, it's
Right.
And I would venture to say they don't have access to ROTC's national organization or, Cheer Varsity or any of those. So why is this one on the radar all of a sudden?
Yeah, that was the big question that even at the New Jersey Guard show I was at last night that nobody could figure out why were they asking for the financials? I mean, you just made it very clear that they don't the county doesn't pay for do the kids fundraise for the trips too?
So I can't speak to how every school does it, but
Right.
in our instance, it is a booster trip. So the boosters raise the money, whether that's through fundraising or trip costs and things like that. But the school itself does not fund any of this.
Okay. So many nationally recognized color guards in South Florida. So what plans are in place to try to change this decision?
So, well, right now, so our school board has a very, very good reputation for reacting to community backlash.
public pressure.
Just a couple of weeks ago, they wanted to change all the high school schedules from a 4x4 AB block to 7 periods to save money. And the feedback from the families and the communities on social media and contacting, they reversed that decision in a couple days. Same thing with graduation, and it reversed right away. So the way this will change is if people are very vocal and they are making calls and making posts and tagging the school board in it. Because, one of the thoughts I had on Friday morning, I went into my principal and I said, I was thinking about it and I was like, what are the chances no one at the school board's even heard about this yet? Because I was like, what's the process? Like, you get a document like this as a principal, you do what? You send it off to legal. But did it go to legal through whatever area superintendent's in charge of that, or supervisor or whatever? And she said, I can't answer that. And then we found out Friday night, one of our parents got in contact with the superintendent that he had no idea about this. It hasn't even been brought to his attention. And our school board member, with our school board being by a county, so we have areas where they represent, and our school board member for our area, she hadn't heard of it. So I started thinking, it sounds to me like there's a new legal team in town and they're taking their shot. And, and they weren't there was no oversight on them. And that's why it's really important right now that everyone is on that phone and on social media, because nothing's going to really happen for the rest of today. But tomorrow morning, that's where things are going to start happening, and we're going to know where we stand with it.
Yeah, and the community has already been so responsive. I've just seen it everywhere, So that's been really amazing to see, and we appreciate it so much.
And it's so crazy because last year was Stoneman Douglas's 30th anniversary of their first WGI performance. And it's a legacy program. Long before us, there were so many great shows and so many great instructors that passed through that program. And we had this big celebration last year because we realized it was their 30th anniversary, and that's a pretty great milestone. And then here we are in year 31, and we had to sit the kids down Friday and say, there's a good chance we might not be finishing out the season.
That was the next question on my list, actually. How are your so obviously you said that you sat the kids down Friday. That I was going to ask you, do they know what's going on? How are they dealing with it?
So it was really important that they weren't getting the information from social media or from other kids texting them. And so the email from WGI, I think, dropped at about, I would say like 2:15, 2:10. And so I immediately started calling kids out of class because our bell rings at 2:40. So we were pretty much done. And we had club pictures after school. So they'd be there anyway. So I did everything I could to get them out and get them down there before they were looking at their phones and stuff. So they heard it first from me. They didn't hear it, on their phones or anything. And they were pretty shell shocked because
Oh,
so I've been a part of, somehow I got, I guess, elected to be the mediator with the school board and WGI. And so I had a conversation with Ron the day earlier about how it was finally at an impasse. And at that point, for me, it was like I needed to not let rumors spread and everything like that. I let some key parents in our parent organization know who could really get the parents activated and get them moving. But I just didn't want this to be, it's easy when you tell so many people, say, don't say anything, but it always gets out. So we kept it super under wraps. We had poker face. Like, the kids literally knew nothing until I told them, until I had to tell them because it was out there.
yeah. So, I mean, what's going to happen with, the regionals and stuff like that? Like, you won't be able to do WGI regionals either.
Our circuit down here is the one who sponsors the region, runs it basically. And so
Mhm.
now, some of their main members are not going to be able to participate. So, they've been really a big part of talking with us and trying to activate everyone. And they put out a really great thing on Instagram that kind of summed up all the issues in the master agreement. A former student of ours actually put it together for them. And if you go to their Instagram, it's super great. It'll explain each of the issues. And it also explains, who you can contact and what you can do. But it's if the onslaught of emails and social media posts continue until the 10th, then I think there will be some kind of change. I think there will be some, motivation to make it work.
So, speaking of the 10th, tell us what's happening on the 10th.
So that's the school board meeting that occurs, I think, monthly,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. And the thing about the master agreement is that it has to be voted on by the entire school board, right? So it can't just be like the principal can't just sign off or one school board member. It has to be at the meeting. And so obviously February 10th, you're getting real close to regional season. Actually, important to note is that it doesn't just affect color guard; it affects percussion as well. So our percussion, they have a regional, I believe,
End of February.
End of February. Yeah. So if this doesn't get approved at the school board meeting, then whether March 10th comes along and they have another one and they revote, our percussion won't be able to go to that regional no matter what.
As WGI said, if there's no agreement by the 10th, then we got to be fair and it's off the table for everyone. So, that deadline is very real.
So, what we could do by sharing, once this gets published, sharing this quick sip, sharing, I know there's a change.org petition. We're all signing it. We're working the best we can for you and your students and for us too. I mean, we were talking, I've been talking to a bunch of friends and it was like, what would WGI be without Stoneman, Douglas and Flanagan? And, all those guards, I'm leaving a lot out, but all those guards that, what would WGI be without them? And, so, let's get the word out. Let's let's make February 10th happen.
And just a side note, all the petitions are great though, but the school board will absolutely respond to emails and social media posts with them tagged.
Okay.
And watching how some other events have occurred, those are the things that really grab their attention,
What do you want people to tag? Like what accounts?
School board of Broward County.
Okay. We'll make sure
I would
everybody
say,
knows.
they should tag the color guards too. As many, the groups that they know of that it's going to affect, Cooper City, West Broward,
Jupiter.
as many as you can, because then, people love to just repost it and stuff like that. And I'd like to say one other thing. The amount of people that have taken time out of their days to stop and contact us to say, we're so sorry. And you know what I mean? Like, what can we do to help? Like that has been so incredible. Like, I guess you don't really realize, people in our community are really paying attention to what's going on. And, it could be very easy someone reading that and just keep scrolling, but so many people of that we look up to in the activity and so many groups in the activity have really, come forward to talk to the kids and us and just say, we're here, we're going to help. And what do you need? What do you need? So,
yeah. And another thing that I think that the school board is going to be very surprised how big the community is as well.
Yeah.
Because if we're surprised by the support, then they have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, you're right. So, Dean and Evan, where can we find you guys on social media?
Facebook, Instagram. I don't have a TikTok. I'm not of that generation, but
Either.
Yeah, same. But Facebook and Instagram. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Before you close out of your listening app, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and all of the social media platforms at On a Water Break Podcast, or you can email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com. Also on social media, feel free to write us a review. Well, Evan and Dean, we're getting called out from the box to get back out on the field. So thanks for joining our quick sip.
thank you so
All
much.
right.
Appreciate
Thanks a
it.
lot. Appreciate it.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Ream. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.